Whoa, Jared. Hey, you okay, man?
I'm good. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing some of my mojo here. The show taking off, and to be honest, if I just don't feel like Steven's available much anymore. I don't feel like. Do you ever just feel replaceable some days? I'm don't worry about it.
Yeah, but man, we love you here.
I know. I need to work this out. What are you doing?
Huh? Oh, I'm producing now.
What?
Huh? What's he doing here? I'm replacing Jared now. No, you're not.
All right, glad to be with you. Sorry, I had to change my shirt. The last one got a little messy there. Went with the red. Producing with me in video studio, as always, is Jared, who is not gay. Follow him on Twitter at NotGayJared, me at SCrowder. I fulfill my legal obligations. Draw your own conclusions. Are we good?
You were.
You have to change your shirt. We can't wear the same shirt. You have to change your shirt. We have Tomi Lahren going to be in studio, right in that chair, live in studio. I think it's the first long-form sit-down interview that she's done in a while. So I'm pretty happy to have her. Well, we're going to put you in the green room. So Tomi Lahren, it's been a crazy busy week. This is the end of the week for #FreeCrowder. I think, are we putting morning grinders up?
We are putting morning grinders.
We're putting morning grinders up on the YouTubes. So this is our final. This is the actual, obviously, live stream Thursday. Thank you so much. Yeah. #FreeCrowder. And by the way, long sleeve Socialisms for Figs is available in the store. Nice shirt. Appreciate it.
I feel less like a fag now. We're good.
I wouldn't go that far. We've been talking about terrorism this week. We had a long, extended episode yesterday with Professor Jordan Peterson. Today, we want to discuss the Trump budget, specifically education. I've gotten a lot of emails saying, hey, how do I refute this? People are really mad. They're saying Trump doesn't care about education. So we'll get to that. And, of course, the Land O'Lakes butter lady, Elizabeth Warren, and her thoughts. In a little bit, then Tomi Lahren. We'll also be playing a game with Tomi Lahren.
Yeah, good.
All right, in other news, female genital mutilation. This occurred in Michigan, and the lawyers claimed that it's a religious right in the U.S. case on the practice. Don't laugh at that. It's better if you laugh at punchlines than just horrific.
To all of 2017 to me, it's just one giant punchline, just taking a crap on what should be actual news.
It's a very dark punchline.
It's very dark. Good Lord. This is off to a horrible start. I wouldn't be surprised if Tomi Lahren just says, I'm getting out of here. So this happened, surprise, in Michigan. 2 Detroit doctors and one of their wives have been charged with subjecting 2 7-year-old girls to genital cutting. There are a bunch of charges. This case isn't new, but what is new is a defense that it's a religious right, because apparently it was banned in 1996 for super racist reasons. We want to be sensitive.
We want to be.
Yeah. According to the court documents, the girls say that they were told They were going to Michigan for a special girls trip.
Uh-oh.
This is what they did. They told them a special girls trip. Of course, yeah, special girls trip to Dearborn, Hampshire. It's just an awful cesspool of the world. That's right. A special girls trip.
They're lucky they made it home.
Because female circumcision it's long been a part of Americana. It's a part of the American culture in growing up a lady. Who could forget the classic novels that told us as much, like Nancy Drew and the Quest of the Missing Clitoris. That was a good one.
Yeah, you got to find that.
Of course, was the ever elusive Case of the Vanishing Orgasm. That one was. And then the ill-fated but commercially actually very successful, not well reviewed, but commercially very successful, Nancy Drew and the Pedophile Rapist Prophet in the Attic. Indian in the Cupboard has some competition.
Yes, indeed.
He's getting bent over on the reg. Okay, so listen, I will say this: the response was overwhelming, even from the right and the left. Most people say, "Okay, this is ridiculous. This defense." Now, it's not ridiculous enough that a lawyer didn't try to use the defense. It's not ridiculous enough that there aren't super far social justice warrior leftists actually making this case. But in defense of even like the Young Turks, they talked about this. They unilaterally agreed that it was ridiculous. However, we did learn in discussing this subject something very illuminating. I'm so sorry. It's very illuminating regarding Cenk's own circumcision.
That's crazy, right?
Right.
So when I was 6, they had me do my own anesthesia, and it was in a backyard, and and all my relatives and family members and friends were there, and they're all watching. And they dress you up in a clown outfit because it's like taking the girls to the stayover or whatever, right? And so I did. The doctor asked, "Do you want to do your anesthesia?" I was like, "No, I'm 6." And he's like, "Oh, it'll be fun. You do it." And then I didn't place it, but I squeezed it down, right? So I did it. And then he did the surgery in front of everybody in the backyard, and not my backyard. We didn't have when we lived in an apartment. His backyard, and there's blood everywhere.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's recap this. I don't want to be insensitive, but let's recap. Cenk, you were 6 years old, dressed in a clown outfit.
Yeah.
Everyone watched as a doctor asked you to inject yourself with an unknown substance, which we assume is some kind of a pain medication at this point. Like, your guess is as good as mine. The doctor performed surgery, as you put it, non mosque, in his backyard. Cenk, you weren't circumcised. That was just a block party for your neighborhood clown rapist. He did, now to be fair, he did bring the Diet of Champions to the world. So, it's true. Your clown rape was not in vain.
He's getting a lot of footlongs now.
That's horrible, Gerald.
That's horrible.
That's true.
You're the worst dad joke that I've ever heard in my life. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I know.
We won't let you within 10 feet of Tomi Lahren. Huffington Post. I want to set this up. I think we read this article. I think we wrote about it.
I read this earlier this week.
It was earlier this week, this article in
yeah.
Huffington Post. It was "Stop Using Free Speech to Be Awful" was an article written. Now, you should go read it. I always encourage you, verify. Go read the article for yourself.
Luckily, it's still up.
Luckily, it's still up. The crux of the article was, stop using the First Amendment to hide behind hate speech. Hate speech is not protected by the First Amendment. It's not okay. They did, however, there's an addendum on the article. No one else was talking about this. We just found it this morning. We were going through stories. They issued there's a correction at the bottom of the story now, and it says, "Correction. An earlier version of this story indicated that the First Amendment never protects hate speech. It does." It's basically a correction saying, yeah, by the way, everything we put and that was a lie.
That was a lie.
Our bad.
Excuse me. Everything that guy said is bullshit. Thank you. And it's so funny. This is why the left is losing, the regressive left. We were talking about this with Jordan Peterson. They've just been allowed to get away with things for so long, and people have just not questioned it. You know, hey, hate speech laws are necessary, and people for a long time, oh yeah, I guess so. The First Amendment doesn't protect hate speech. Well, yeah, I guess it's not. And now all of a sudden, because of the internet, because of a growing alternative media who actually do fact check these people, then we're called fake news. Someone just said, hey, you know that thing you said about how the First Amendment doesn't protect like offensive speech? Yes. Yeah, that's actually why it was written. So you're gonna have to go. Oh my God! But I'm not going out there and issuing a correction. Well, the good news is you don't, because you're fired. But we are going to have to print that on there ourselves.
Can you imagine how busy they'd be if they actually honestly went through all of their articles?
Oh no,
I know.
You just got to skim.
Issued constitutional corrections.
It's been allowed to go completely unquestioned. So
hold on, Steven. Hold on.
Oi, Jared, what's up? How you doing, mate?
What are you doing, Dean?
How you doing, mate? I'm chilling. I'm just creating this character. No, it's this way. I found him. He's Scottish. He's a Scottish character that keeps Pablo Picasso with him, and I talk all the time on the. I could play it on the show for the show. Like I could do him on the show.
No, we don't.
I have Scottish people on the show.
Just
who would know?
Dean. Just be Dean.
Jared, listen to me. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. Right?
Dean.
Right? Jared.
No.
Jared.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we love him. He's got to be booked like everyone else. Okay, let's get into the edge. This is what people are talking about now. I think everyone's kind of all just terroristed out. I get it. We're tired. I think we've said everything that we need to say. So now we've moved on to Donald Trump's budget, specifically as it relates to education. Okay. Let me set this up for you. Elizabeth Warren released this video, Land O'Lakes butter lady. God bless her. She released this video and leftists are sharing it. For you
raw.
It's raw.
Super raw.
It's like old MTV style. It looks like it was directed by the person who created Big Brother. So for you to be on board with this video or to agree with it or to be outraged at the budget requires two things, okay? It requires that A, you don't really understand the context of the numbers of budgets as it works nationally and state budgets. And it also requires that you believe increased spending effectively means increased efficiency, means higher quality of education. That's the premise of the video that you don't necessarily hear spoken about. So I intend to prove that those two ideas, well, not ideas, one is just you have to be ignorant, but the second one will prove is verifiably false. Elizabeth Warren, let's go.
So I just want to talk for a minute about a few of the details here. Trump and DeVos. Remember Betsy DeVos, the person the Republicans confirmed to be Secretary of Education? The big complaint was that this is a woman who does not believe in public education. Well, she just proved it. And that is the Trump-DeVos budget cuts $11 billion from public education.
Oh, 11 billion. That
sounds serious.
That's more than 10 billion.
That's more than 10.
It's one less than 12, but one more than 10.
Add it up and it gets to be a big number eventually.
It does sound like a big number. Let's put that into context. Our annual spending is 3.65 trillion. With an annual deficit of 443 billion. We're spending 443 billion more than we actually can afford to spend. Just put it on my tab. And that's led to close to a $20 trillion debt. That's the difference between the deficit and the debt, by the way. A lot of people don't necessarily understand that. Here's the thing. So that sounds like a lot, 11 billion, because when you look at total federal spending on education, it's somewhere around $82 billion that we spend federally on education. So 11 billion would be a sizable chunk out of that. But our total spending, despite what bumper stickers tell you, when the Air Force has to host a bake sale to buy their bombers, but our schools are properly funded, we spend more overall on education than the military in the United States. We spend overall $946 billion on education, compared with about $835 billion in the military. Now, what's the big difference? That includes vets, by the way, in the military. What's the big difference? Military, federal. The vast majority of funding for schools comes from state funding. Surprise! I'm going to let you in on a secret. Your parents went to school without a federal Department of Education. Yeah. There never should have been a federal Department of Education. When people say you don't believe in a federal department, you don't believe in education? No, I don't believe in your crappy education. So 11 billion taken away from the federal. Okay, 11 billion. Now you're down from 82 billion. That's 71 billion. Yeah, but you're still at over $930 billion. That's about 1% of total education spending. And by the way, you look at how much we spend on education, and they're talking about slashing $11 billion. That's a drop in the bucket. And we still get math. We're still going to get basic arithmetic. That's not the complaint of this video. We're still going to get basic sciences. Let's actually hear the potential slashes that Pocahontas laments.
They want to take away 22 programs that help kids K through 12.
Okay, first off, she hasn't been educated on how to properly pronounce programs. What is the details? Programs? We need to schedule these children appropriately. She's so affected.
All right, Nike.
All right. 22 programs gone. No, first off, they're not gone. It goes back to the states. The states can choose what they want to do with these programs. Let's talk about some of these programs. She doesn't get into the specifics of programs. Just look at what it slash these programs. Oh my God, programs? You can't slash those.
No.
Wait, what the hell are those?
What about specific programs like the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, which have proven to be harmful? in 2007, and we're still funded. Hopefully, we are slashing the program of the After School Satan Club.
Yeah.
Some of these programs
Doesn't look fun.
are going to be canceled, and we can't get into all the specifics, but there are so many absurd programs in school, and it's all lumped under the idea of education. Just like, well, we need to fund PBS because of education. Just like, well, we need subconscious reconditioning because of education. We need microaggression theory because of education. We just lump it all under education, and yeah, but that can't really be a course. I'll just put it as an after-school program. Let's go to another clip.
They want to take away after-school programs, gone. Teacher training, gone. Class size reduction, gone. School arts programs, gone. Physical education programs, gone. Foreign language programs, gone.
First off, I would be very interested to know if foreign languages includes Spanish. I think it depends on the audience. America has no native language. We speak both English and Spanish. Yeah, well, that's good because we were going to slash it. No. You can't slash the foreign languages. No. Teacher training? Isn't that college? Teacher training's going to be gone. Again, we're still talking about $930-something billion. These aren't necessarily going to be gone, but physical education, your future, dodgeball, I'm okay with it. Dodgeball's gone.
I think we're running around in the playground.
Art programs?
It's not happening.
What, like postmodern expressionism,
Yeah.
underwater basket weaving? There's so many absurd ideas that are lumped under these programs. And here's something, too, that's important. When I was raised in Canada, we had something called the International program. And what this was for people who were specifically gifted in one area. They were, I think it was called the International program, they were allowed to miss half a day of class. So, for example, athletes, we had like Olympic level figure skaters, they'd come into school half a day late. They'd only do half of the day of school, and they'd either be doing advanced figure skating or advanced mathematics if they were planning on going into engineering fields. Why? Because school recognized the value in, hey, this person is clearly going to go into this specific field, and most of what we do is a waste of time. He doesn't need to be doing gym and Spanish and art. Let's let him do what is more effective. Half of all of our school days could be slashed. And by the way, we're not even talking about that. States will be totally fine. They can fund it.
Yeah, it's like,
but I'd be fine with most of this crap being done.
Possibly play basketball. Like every gym, every rec center, every community organization, they think this is the only place. They are the only ones, sole providers of these kind of activities.
Because it takes a village. It is the government's job to raise your child, not you. Kids do not need to be spending as much time, class time, in public schools. They need to be learning. Now, the only measurement for learning is not how much time are you spending in class, certainly not if the curriculum is determined by...
How many hours of homework do you take home after all those hours of endless class?
All right, let's go on to this is something they're really upset about, and a lot of you are upset about, but it's silly.
Oh, and there's more. There's more. The Trump-DeVos budget would totally eliminate public service loan forgiveness. That's it. Gone.
So for those who don't know, public loan forgiveness, what they're talking about is under this program, this comes from a government website, so you know it's important. True. Under this program, you may qualify for forgiveness of the remaining balance due on your federal direct loan program loans after you have made 120 qualifying payments on those loans while employed full-time by certain public service employers. Okay, so 10 years of you haven't paid off your student loan. Here's what's so funny now. We're talking about loan forgiveness. All of a sudden, this is an imperative moral that we must uphold here in the United States. Not collecting the check. Now, you have no problem. When I get a tax refund, let's put it this way. When I get a tax refund, you get a tax refund. That's you giving the government a loan, interest-free. Yeah. Okay?
You're welcome.
They've taken more money. They're giving it back to you, and they're not even giving you any interest. All right? That's what happens when you're getting a tax refund. Don't forget that. Okay? And okay, let's get into the student loan idea. Sorry, there was something else we were talking about earlier that I can't remember what we were talking about with the tax refund. I have no idea. Anyways, my brain's a piece of crap. Tomi Lahren will hopefully waken it up.
Yes, she will.
So right now we're talking about people who have borrowed money and haven't been able to pay it back. So these people, that's what I was saying. You have no problem taking loans from us, interest-free, at gunpoint, taking our money, right? There's no problem with we're taking your money by force, by coercion. That's the only way you collect taxes, okay? That's totally fine. We're okay with it. We're going to take half of every dollar you earn if you happen to have committed the crime against humanity of being successful enough. But all of a sudden, when it comes to deadbeats who couldn't pay back their loans over 10 years, how could we collect the tab?
There's no way to do it.
You have no problem taking my money, but the person who screws up, and by the way, the only way you pay off their loan without them paying you back, where do you think that money's made up when you forgive their loan? It's forgiven through my dollars.
Yeah.
You've taken my money to give to people. And by the way, some of these things don't come with the right stipulations. You know what? I don't think your loan should be forgiven if you got a master's in women's studies. I think we should be sending the Gambino crime family to break your thumbs.
Yeah, it's kind of like giving Santa Claus like credit for all your presents too. It's kind of like, we forgive you. You can love us. You didn't do shit. That guy did.
You stole from everybody else.
Well, actually, let's go on to the next clip.
Steal $4 billion from the Pell Grant program.
Interesting, you should use that word. Steal from the Pell Grant program. Now, for people who don't understand, the Pell Grant program, these what they're really talking about is stealing from programs that provide subsidies to underprivileged people who can't afford college. So let's look at this order of events. All right, listen, we're going to take half of what you earn. If you're not making that much, we're going to take 35% of what you earn. Jeez, gosh, that's a real kick to the balls. Well, I'm sorry, Johnny, we can't afford to send you to college. No. Actually, since you make under the threshold, we can give him a grant. We can give him a grant to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars for college because he can't afford it. Oh, here's a thought. How about, stay with me here, instead of taking half of my money and then giving him half of somebody else's money, just let me keep my money and I'll send my own kid to college.
Steven, it's so much easier to boil it down to you hate poor people.
You hate poor people with the Pell Grant. You hate poor people.
By the way, athletes on full scholarship get Pell Grant too. Saw it happen. Just saying.
Did it?
Oh, yes.
How does that even happen?
Oh, yes.
What is it? Just
we can get into this.
We'll get into a whole other point. But the point is, again, it's steal. Okay, steal from the Pell Grant program. So what is this idea? This is the government's money. We have this money in this pool for this program, right? And Donald Trump wanting to slash the budget here in this government that's stealing from this pool. Well, where'd you get it? Dumbass, let's go to the next clip.
Here's the one that just is especially awful. They want to roll back the student loan subsidies for low-income college students. So what's the plan of DeVos and Trump? It's to make student loans more expensive for the students who have the most trouble paying them.
And there you go. There's attributing intent.
Violin,
you don't care
everything.
about poor people. Here's something that they don't talk about, okay? Let's just assume for a second that maybe Donald Trump and his constituents, they're not so stupid that they said, let's screw poor people and let's do it out in the open. They'll never see it coming, see? Okay? Maybe they want to slash 1% of the federal education budget because they want to put it back in the hands and the control and responsibility in the hands of states who ran education for decades until the modern Department of Education. Economists will also tell you, maybe for the reason that, we've seen hyperinflation, okay, with student loans. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
But let's not try and act like there's some kind of, as they've tried to paint with the banking crisis, there's deregulation, there's no regulation when it comes to education, it's just big business. No. There are tons of regulations, there is tons of money at play, there are tons of grants and scholarships. Now, what does that do? We've seen consistent inflation with student tuition costs alongside increased spending. We're spending more on education, but costs go up for students. So why does that happen? And there are economists far more brilliant than me who explain this. Okay, it's an unaffordable grant because this kid can't afford college, right? Let's say college is $10,000. The kid can afford college. He pays $10,000. But if that cost is $25,000 and that kid can't afford $25,000, he can only afford $10,000, there's a grant to make up the extra $15,000. That grant is sitting on the table from the government, right? The government says, well, listen, any students out there who can't afford and meet these qualifications in college, we're going to match their money. It's kind of like a 401k. They're matching the money. If you are a university or you are a college, are you going to leave that extra 10 or 15 grand on the table? Or are you going to say, hey, you know what, let's play fair. Let's make school affordable for kids. You can afford 10 grand. We'll keep our tuition like a patient-doctor relationship. That's what you can afford. No, if they don't overcharge tuition price, they're leaving money on the table that the next college down the road will take in the form of a grant, and that lends itself to more and more inflation. And here's why education sucks. We have not had a federal Department of Education. Going back to secondary school, we had it, most of your parents didn't have a Department of Education. Since the federal Department of Education, people haven't gotten much smarter. You're probably stupider than your parents. Okay? Standardized testing hasn't gotten better. SAT scores are actually going lower with increased spending. So I think maybe instead of saying that we hate poor people, maybe someone could just look at this from the other side of the aisle. Just give us the benefit of the doubt as far as intent. Maybe someone's look at it and go, okay, we've increased spending dramatically. We've created a federal Department of Education. We're spending more than ever. We're providing more grants than ever. It's unfettered, complete and total government control over the land of secondary education, and it's worse than ever. Let's just try a different tact. No, you hate poor people. And now it's time to discuss just why you hate poor people.
The Trump-DeVos budget would push opportunities out of the reach of millions of students across this country. It would ruin lives. Yeah, it's all about numbers, but it's also all about our values.
Oh, it's all about values. Yeah. By the way, it's all about numbers. Let's get over that. 1% of the budget of total output on education, which has shown no discernible positive effect on education. Okay? No. So it's all about the numbers. You're lying. And I mean she's lying. I don't mean she is misinformed. She is lying.
Yeah.
Just like people who spout the wage gap, they know. They have to know. They don't have Google. She knows. She can run the numbers, go, 940 billion, 11 billion, okay, well, that's not really a whole lot. She knows the numbers. But then it comes to values now.
Maybe she spent all of her money on camera.
Yes.
She said research.
Well, they do have that second camera angle. That's great to switch back to every once in a while.
Okay, Elizabeth, I really just think that you should just maybe do a Facebook stream from your phone. No! I want 4 GoPros. And I want you to hire Nolan.
James camera's in here, so right?
Yeah. And the taxpayer is going to pick up the tab. Get Joss Whedon. Get Joss Whedon! But we're talking about values now. So it's about numbers. It's not about the numbers. It's about values. It's about values of not eliminating 1% so that people can be in charge of their own education. It's about the values of ignoring the success of private schools, charter schools, Montessori schools, homeschooling, and just how much better they do. It's about values. It's about the values. Yeah, values like jamming forceps in a baby's head. Values like opening the borders so that people who've tried to come here legally and have spent years and years toiling away to join the great experiment that is the United States of America get screwed in the process. Values like being understanding and validating the worldview of people who blow up children at Ariana Grande concerts. Values that say that the idea of men and women and biological sex is just a figment of your imagination. It's not about the numbers because you're wrong on those, Miss Pocahontas Warren. Now all of a sudden the left wants to pivot to values. Okay, let's talk about those values. I'm easy to find. Any leftist, Elizabeth Warren, or maybe Wendy Davis wants to trot back in here. We'd love to have you back in. Good luck on that presidential run. Come on in to Louder with Crowder or email Jared at louderwithcrowder.com. We'll talk about those values. But coming up next, Tomi Lahren. She's of tremendous value.
How the hell is Louder with Crowder continuing to grow when we distinctly throttled and demonetized their channel? Are they reaching their viewers somewhere else? Are they doing a Patreon? And where the hell is Tranny Bane?
I don't know where he is. I told him it was urgent.
Oh, you don't seem to know much vetting, do you? Where is that he, she?
Speak of the devil, and ze shall appear.
What the hell is going on?
Your plan is going as expected.
Oh, really? Does YouTube look advertiser friendly right now? Your plan of partnering with CRTV, it didn't work, my friend. Now your Monk Club members are supporting Louder with Crowder off-site, but still running around YouTube comment section, raising awareness and disrupting our safe spaces. Tell me, how exactly does that help us, YouTube, get rid of dissenting opinions?
Leave us.
No, stay. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I'll let you monetize a small fortune.
And this gives you power over me.
What is this?
Your YouTube and infrastructure have been important till now.
Who are you?
My club is YouTube's reckoning. Viewer-supported content not only allow us to reach them directly off-site, but simultaneously disrupt the bubble we've all been living in. It is my club outside of YouTube that allows the free content to operate within YouTube.
You are pure evil.
My club is necessary evil.
No.
All right, glad to be back. So, glad to be. Well, so we haven't introduced her yet, but don't show her.
Don't.
We have had questions from the audience. Geez, you already revealed it. First off, you know who she is. She's controversial. Obviously, she's in the news quite a bit. You can't avoid her. Well, I guess you could, technically. It'd be difficult. First off, Facebook.com/Tomi Lahren, Lahren, right? I got that, like Lahren.
That's how it's pronounced.
Like
I never knew, and now I feel
There you go.
blind.
How's it pronounced? It's pronounced.
Lahren.
You just told
Lahren,
us.
like laryngitis.
There you go. That's the first
Yeah.
thing a guy wants to think when he thinks of your name.
Well, you know.
Like laryngitis.
Well, you know, Wale calls me Tammy Lauren.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but Wale and I have an ongoing beef.
Wait, who's Wale?
Wale the rapper? Come on, Steven.
I don't know who Wale. I was thinking of the robot.
Oh.
Or as,
That's
as Elizabeth Warren pronounces it, the robot. You see yesterday when she was talking about the budget, she's like, these details of this program. I'm like, what is, everything about her is fake. Okay, so no, what's going on with Wale? I'm sorry, I'm not aware. But before we get to that, do you appreciate that we didn't do the Fox News leg chair? See, look at the angle.
Oh, I didn't even.
We're gentlemen here.
Okay, well, that works for me.
Although Dick Morris tunes in and you're going to get hell for your ankles. Go ahead.
Okay, well, that's okay. Yeah, I get hell for most everything, Steven,
Yes.
so just line them up.
But no, by hell, I mean he's going to contact you incessantly and ask you about your ankles.
Okay.
He likes feet.
Oh, well, you learn something new every day.
Yes.
But as I'm teaching about Wale,
Yes.
So Wale is a rapper.
Okay.
Wale came out with a song called Smile.
Okay.
He referenced me as Tammy Lauren. After the fact, he tried to say that that was a diss by calling me Tammy Lauren, but in reality, he just really didn't know how to pronounce my name. That's okay, though. It was kind of a diss song about Donald Trump. He wanted to throw me in there, too.
So, wait, on. What was his diss? I'm hearing some kind of sound here. Does someone else have the headphones on? Or does someone have a... This is the show. You can't edit this. This is what's different from the places
Turn your
that shall not
headphones
be
off,
spoken.
maybe.
My headphones are...
I turned them off.
Oh, you turned them
they're
off.
off.
Okay, that's it. So why did he go out of his way to diss you?
Because I'm critical of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I was in this whole song. This whole song is kind of about we still need to smile even though Donald Trump's our president. And he mentioned me, saying, Tammy Lauren. He's gonna Lauryn Hill me because I'm miseducated.
Now, is Lauryn Hill, is she deceased?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say, what's the threat?
I have no. Well, you'd have to ask.
Like
Wale.
Lauryn Hill, is it like she was put in a body bag or something, or just like Lauryn? No, like Lauryn Hill. I just started at the grocery store. Well, that's not a threat.
You'd have to ask Wale about that. But he says, I'm miseducated, and he thinks that I would not like the color of his face, which is obviously not true, but doesn't
What is
really
the color
matter.
of his face?
Well, I think it's black.
Well, technically that's not a color. That's a shade. So right away, Wale is not very good with the disses. He's not accurate with his color spectrum.
Well, you should tell Wale that. We have this ongoing beef, but he trolls me on Twitter every time I tweet something. He trolls me. It's okay though.
How does a rapper troll you? I understand the Tupac, the Biggie beef, East Coast, West Coast. I understand Eminem, talking Jay-Z, whatever it is. I don't really understand how Wale says, you know what? My career move, I'm gonna go after that blonde chick who talks about politics.
Well, this is my second rap song though, Steven, because I was in my first rap song is actually my voice in the song. It was a Pusha T Jay-Z song called Drug Dealers Anonymous, and I have a wonderful line there from my final thoughts on Beyonce's Super Bowl performance where she saluted the Black Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a line of my voice in the middle of that song. So that was rap song number 1. Now I'm in rap song number 2 with Wale, and I think there's a third one on his new album in which he also references me. So I've been in 3 rap songs at this point.
You know how I know you're not a hip-hop fan? You call them rap songs.
Well, rap tracks.
Tracks. They're not like this is my diss song.
Diss track. It's a
diss track.
But it's a rap song.
I don't think they say song. I think they try and distance themselves from formal musical training as much as possible.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't know. I've never heard it referred to as a rap song. I've heard it like my new track, my new B-side, my new mixtape.
Your beats.
Your beats. Beats by Dr. Dre. Horrible headphones, by the way. Very overpriced.
Okay.
Please don't tell me you have those.
No.
Okay, good.
I can't say that I do.
All right, good. Well, this is off to a good start. Everything we've talked about is relevant. So, you have been... Obviously, there are things you can't talk about. We all know this when it comes to kind of shifting employment opportunities. I'm trying to tread as carefully as possible. So, you haven't really done a lot of like long-form interviews like this since kind of the fallout.
Not many, no.
Because, I mean, you still appear on cable news and issue, but they deal in sound bites, and you can't really get to the meat of it. So, what has it been like with the backlash? Would you say it's been 50-50 support from fans? Your fans are always going to be supportive, but what is that like as a young person dealing with kind of a public backlash that, occurred?
I guess the backlash was immediate, but I've seen my numbers on all platforms grow from this.
Yeah.
And I think I've attracted a lot more fans because of this. And not just because they agreed with what I said, but because they agree with the fact that I said it.
Yeah.
And they appreciated that I stood up for myself and that I don't operate off talking points. And I'm really willing to risk everything for really what I believe in. So there's a degree of authenticity there.
Yeah.
People seem to like that.
So when you talk about it, this was obviously the
It.
controversial comments were the abortion comments, right? On the
but
View.
I wouldn't even call them abortion comments. That's the thing that frustrates me the most about this is I do think, as a conservative, you can be pro-choice and anti-abortion.
Sure.
I do. From a limited government perspective, that is my take on it. I've always told folks that I am fiscally conservative and I'm more moderate. That's kind of a trademark of the millennials in general, I think.
Yeah.
But I've been very forthright about that. It's not that I'm pro-abortion. It's not like I'm Lena Dunham out there saying, oh, I really wish I could have had an abortion. No, that's not me at all. I'm very anti-abortion. Personally, that's where I stack up as far as government intervention.
Yeah, Lena Dunham, that's her new Christmas single. That's her track dropping is I Want an Abortion for Christmas.
Yeah, it's not very catchy and rhyming.
So you can see it there coming down the stairs.
Tries.
And an abortion hero standing there. For people who catch the reference will love that. People who don't think this is going off the rails quickly. Both are probably right. So I read some interviews after that because I'm not entirely clear. I'll be honest. So
Okay.
are you pro-life? Are you, because the issue comes down for conservative, I'm pro-life. As far as, okay, are you terminating a life? And that kind of determines generally your worldview. Now, if you don't believe that you're terminating a life, then you can be, pro-choice, I guess it's called, but saying, okay, you don't think the government should pay for it. Is that your view? Is that how you would categorize it?
I don't think the government should pay for it. I've been very vocal about that as well. I always say I don't care what you do. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want taxpayers to pay for it. So defund Planned Parenthood. That's totally okay with me. I will stand up for that all day long. In my personal life and with my friends, I would be pro-life like you are. But I have this weird mix of conservative and libertarian views in which I just don't think it's the government's place. But there's more gray area there. That's why this issue is frustrating to me because it's not black and white.
Right.
After the first trimester, it's a different story.
Okay.
So for me...
So you would say after the first trimester, it's ending a life?
Yes, I do believe that. Personally, I do. But I just think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I got to tell you, my worldview on this has evolved. I have a friend who's a police officer. She works in crimes against children, and she's seen 9-year-olds that were raped and impregnated, and that changed her worldview. I've heard stories like that. That changes mine.
People can get pregnant at 9 years old?
Yeah.
You ever heard of 9-year-olds getting pregnant?
Yeah.
I have
Really?
heard of that.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Is that the hormones in the milk thing? I've read about that.
Stay away from
Vaccines.
Yeah, that's the vaccines. Now little Cindy got her vaccine for polio. Next thing you know, she's having triplets.
Damn, Cindy.
Someone here whose daughter Cindy, who had a vaccine for polio, the odds are there's someone who fits under that description and had triplets, and we are going to get
We're
sued.
going to get letters.
Thanks, Tommy, bringing
Sued
controversy
is still
wherever you go.
also a very sensitive word, Steve.
Can I not use the word sued? All right.
Yeah, I think you can use that word.
I can use the word.
Use whatever word you want. I can use the word
Do you know what
sued.
we do with lawsuits? We get them. We just like dandelions. We don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Eventually, we think that could come and bite us. But okay, so that was now the criticism was, to be fair, from other people, and not to just focus on this. I just want to clarify because I wasn't entirely clear that obviously people had seen you on your show, like we just talked about with Lena Dunham, kind of railing against people who were pro-choice activists. And so they would argue the issue was with consistency, so maybe you misrepresented your views. Do you feel that some people their argument would hold water, or they just aren't paying attention?
Well, they weren't paying attention. They weren't watching my show because
Okay.
I would say that I was socially moderate almost on a weekly basis on my show. And then beyond that, it was written in the New York Times that I'm pro-choice. That came out in December. So it's been well
but nobody
documented.
reads them.
Well, there you go. Again. But I will say, I understand where they're coming from. But for me, this is not black and white. I have gone against Lena Dunham for saying, I want an abortion. Someone that's going to glorify abortion, I'm not okay with that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be mainstream. People that are going to march in the streets for free abortion, I'm not okay with that either. So I would rail against those folks. But I think that part of being pro-choice, and maybe those aren't the best words to use, but is acknowledging that there is a choice. When you say, oh, I just love abortion like Lena Dunham does, you're not acknowledging that there's a choice, and a very difficult one that I've never had to make, one that I hope I would never have to make, and I hope my loved ones would never have to make. But you can be against government-funded abortion, and you can be anti-abortion but still believe that it's not the government's place, especially within the first trimester. That's where I fall on that.
Right. Well, we know one thing for certain. Lena Dunham has never been at risk of requiring a termination of pregnancy.
Yeah. Well, she's lost some weight.
Maybe
now.
from Wale, because they like them thick. So now you have a new gig.
Kind of.
Kind of. So what is this? So we read that you're a spokesperson for a pro-Trump. Is it a PAC? Is it an organization?
Yeah, it's an organization.
Okay.
It's really grassroots, trying to promote this president's agenda. So it's less promoting the president and more promoting the agenda.
Okay.
The reason I voted for Donald Trump. So for me, guess what? I see that there's a gap there in other folks that are in this world. You got your Rudy Giuliani, Newt Gingrich, others. They're great. But we need some young people to say, guess what? I support this president. I support his agenda. I think I can help with that. I think it can help with social media. So I joined the effort. I think the mainstream media is doing their best to torpedo this president, and I think we need to bring the fight to them, and I'm happy to help with that.
Yes, so they don't believe in torpedoes because nonviolence. So just
Yes.
really mean gossip. That would be a better
go.
analogy. Really mean things, very
Yes.
bitchy. Like rumors about butt pads and what have you. Those kinds of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
That's what they say.
Horrible thing to say about someone.
Let me. This my butt is a pad, by the way, for those who
It's
don't know.
so true.
Yeah.
33 waist, and I have to buy 36 to 38 pants. That's not a joke.
It's an ass for
Wow.
the books.
Yeah, it is.
That sounds like something Wale might
Yes,
be
it
interested
sounds
in.
like Wale, yeah. Little known fact, a lot of these rappers are closeted homosexuals. Can't get enough of the male butt, apparently. So Wale, you know where to find me, or not Gage it. We wouldn't want you.
Yeah.
No, that,
Spindly.
pass.
No.
Pass.
I think they'd pass you around like a
No,
bum at a
stop it.
Ron Paul rally.
Move on.
So we're talking, so it's not your full-time gig, the
No,
Trump thing.
no.
Because I was going to ask you, going from what would you have called yourself? Opinion journalist?
Political commentator.
Okay, political commentator.
Yep.
Same kind of thing, but you were always straightforward opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been that way too. That's the one thing with Fox News where it was like, well, fair and balanced. I'm like, hold on a second, that's fine as long as people who are opinion journalists admit that they're opinion journalists.
Right.
I've always tried to be straightforward about that. Sometimes, like NPR, they don't admit it.
That's my frustration with the mainstream media. If you want to be a liberal, just say, like, guess what, guys, I'm a liberal.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that you're neutral and then cry when Donald Trump is elected.
No, exactly. If Anderson Cooper just came out and said, listen, I'm a liberal atheist who lives in the West Village, okay? And as soon as I'm done with this segment, I'm going to go, sleep with Wale back at my pad. I'd have no problem with Anderson Cooper. The problem is when he goes up and he tries to act as though he's objective. That's always what I've said. It's the bias by omission. But my question is, since you were an opinion journalist and now you are working with this pro-Trump kind of advocacy group, you were pro-Rubio in the primaries, so you were critical of Donald Trump. Then you supported him. Is that tough, being able to say whatever you want, kind of criticize wherever you want, and now obviously there are certain things that you can't broach on if you're an ambassador for a pro-Trump group?
No, not really, because, again, it's a pro-Trump group, but it's more pro-Trump because it's pro the silent majority, pro-grassroots, America first. That's what I signed up to do, is to be the voice for the silent majority and to help advance that message. This isn't just about being a Trump cheerleader.
Right.
So that's not my job description. For me, it's about the Americans.
It's
that
probably
elected
their
him.
job description, though. I mean, like, if Trump comes out, and he says, like, well, we're not going to get Mexico to pay for the wall, and you say, well, this is crap, I thought he was going to do it, they're probably not going to be super happy about it, right?
I got freedom, though. I mean, I would never lock myself into something where they say, oh, you can't say that, you can't say this. No, that's not really my game. So for me, if he does something, I'm still going to criticize the president. This is more about Americans for me than it is about President Trump. I just happen to think that President Trump cares about average, everyday Americans.
How would you rate his performance thus far? Again, as someone who was a Rubio supporter and now, Donald Trump.
Sure. I'm happy with it. We've got work to do. We certainly do. I think that, Congress needs to play ball as well. I mean, they're not blameless in this, but I like what we're doing.
It'd be hard for them to play any kind of ball, by the way, with Congress. It might as well be called just the knee surgery convention.
Yeah, well.
But I understand the analogy.
I think, though, that the president has done well. There's more things I want to get done. I want that wall.
Okay.
But I'm impressed thus far.
Yeah. Where do you line up right now with, obviously this week, terrorism, awful, at an all-time high. How do you feel about his response? There was some controversy calling them losers.
Yeah. Well,
you also don't like Ariana Grande.
Well, I've never been a fan of Ariana Grande.
I know, it's totally irrelevant.
And she licked donuts, right?
I know.
She
Who
licked donuts and she hates Americans.
Who eats donuts in 2017? I can't remember the last time I had a donut.
You're missing out.
You are. Yeah, Steve comes up and he's like, I just don't get this whole donut thing.
I don't get the whole donut thing.
It's not a thing. It's like...
And I don't get shops that sell donuts and kolaches together.
But you call
What's that?
You refer to it as the donut thing. It's like this whole movie thing. Is that catching on? Is that a thing?
The donut.
I feel like donuts was like it was an evolution of bread. They're like, okay, here's bread. It's kind of bland. let's add some sugar.
How
and
do we
now
trust
we
your
have
opinion on
brownies.
anything,
Now we have everything
Steven?
else, and donuts just don't get me excited.
You've
Am I surrounded by donut
bad
people? Are you a donut
donuts.
person? Is that what I'm hearing?
Who's not a donut person? I think I met my
Exactly.
first non-donut
you.
person.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I thought everybody
Thank
liked
you.
donuts.
You're
but
it's a whole. You're eating an absence.
you can eat the whole too.
That's the thing
you
too. I
want.
want them to like, oh, well, you have a
That's smart
stuffed
business.
donut holes. I'm like, the hell is that? It's you're
Capitalism.
You mean it's nothing?
No,
So
it's capitalism.
It's
It's like you
stuffed
sell the
with something,
donut,
but-
then you sell the whole separately. That's a great business move.
I get. Well, it's like chicken wings. That's how it started out. No one wanted to eat the chicken wings in Buffalo, and these guys said, hey, we'll take all your free wings. Then everyone got wise to it, and they started overcharging for chicken wings.
See?
So okay, what is your plan? We're gonna play a game here after this break. What's your plan going forward? Since this is a side gig,
Mm-hmm.
do you know? Or are you just floating?
I don't know yet. I really don't. Maybe I'll go back to TV. Maybe I'll just take over online some more. We'll see what's next. I think there's probably a book in the works.
So you just use the word take over online. You throw that in there. That's
Yeah.
gonna get some people mad.
What do I say that doesn't make people mad?
Well, I'm
Even
saying
at
like,
this
like
point?
I'll cooperate with people online. I'll partner with. I'll do well online. Like take over.
I already do well online.
Yeah, you do well online.
Yeah.
So take over. Like, what do you mean? Like, who are you gonna have just people like chained up in your front yard?
No.
On chokers. Is it
Yeah,
gonna
that doesn't
look,
help. That doesn't
It's gonna
help
look like
my
Mad
angle.
Max.
No.
We fight at dawn. Is that your next segment?
No, I kind of want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to hit the mainstream a little bit,
So like
agitate
God.
them a little bit. No, not,
omnipotent-
I'm
omnipresent.
not quite that much. That's a little
Like Jay-Z.
far. Well, you know, Jay-Z.
He's
and I-
everywhere.
Exactly.
It's the Illuminati. That's what it is. He gives them godlike powers.
Okay. Well, Jay-Z and I have a history too. It's
I know. You told me that rap track. Yeah, where you
Yeah.
use your thing in there. So
Yeah, he raps about me too.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. He's got so much money. He's got so much
Yeah.
money, but you make him mad.
Well, did you know
Does that give you some satisfaction?
Well, did you know that his wife, Beyonce?
She's super slutty.
Okay. Well, you can say it, not me, because the
she is.
beehive has
Hey.
already come after me more than I can.
Okay, hold on, Beehive, hold on. And when I say super, okay, I'll hold that thought. What you were
Okay.
going to say? When I say super slutty, let me be more gentle with it. Beyonce acts like a whore. Now, when I say acts like a whore, I didn't say she is a whore. Acts like a whore. And people claim that she's not. By the way, no straight man calls her Queen Bee. Okay. No, I've had someone
you and I
how
discussed
yeah,
this
how can you
before.
insult me as Queen Bee? I'm like, you're gay. But when I say acts like a whore, I misinterpreted this. That with Beyonce, I saw that and I was like, oh, that seems like some sort of an sexual invitation, right?
One can
And then she gets on her stage. She gets on that Liberator, and it's almost the same move, only with a geometric change. She does this. That's like the Bernie Sanders version of Beyonce. All the single ladies. That's the point. The point is, like, I think that gets we wrote an article, and Courtney did. Beyonce, it's not because you're black, it's because you act like a whore, and we had gifs of her doing that.
Yeah.
Caught hell. But Jay-Z didn't write about me. So,
Yeah.
but continue with your story.
Well,
That's my opinion.
Beyonce, I decided to speak out against Beyonce and, saluting the Black Panthers and, the giant FU to law enforcement.
Yeah.
I decided to speak out about that and my final thoughts. And, she seemed to notice, and
Okay.
she actually asked to buy those final thoughts and use them on her world tour, in which we said no.
Really?
So,
You could have made a pretty penny. They have a lot of money.
well, I wouldn't have. My former employer would have. That's another story.
No, we don't mention them.
No.
We don't mention former employers.
Nope. We don't even know about
We don't
them.
even know.
Who are they?
Could have been a gas station.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Gryffindor doesn't talk about
Most
who
people
he's
actually
spoken
don't
about.
know.
No. Okay.
Them.
Well, yeah.
But-
Well, then,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a dig. Not very nice, but go ahead.
So we said no.
Okay.
Not gonna use my final thought. So then instead she just puts out some of my tweets
Yeah.
at select concerts.
That seems pretty immature. Seems like there's a lot of drama with the tweets and with the rap songs, as you put them.
There are.
Do you ever wish there were less drama? Because it's kind of like, do you ever feel sometimes as though maybe you're in a prison of this kind of drama because that's what creates the traffic, and that's a lot of the time why people listen, but then it gets exhausting?
Of course it gets exhausting. Yesterday I wore a shirt, or the other day I wore a shirt that says Black Guns Matter. My
Right.
friend Maj Toure has an organization called Black Guns Matter. It's about training, especially in the inner cities, young black men on how to use weapons effectively and efficiently and safely.
Yeah.
Second Amendment stuff. So I support that.
I wouldn't know anything about controversial shirts.
Yeah, you wouldn't. But I wore that, and then everyone now, they said, well, she's been seen in LA with a black man. after I wore a Black Guns Matter shirt.
What does that matter?
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter what I do. If I wear something like that, supporting
You
a
just
group.
go back and
it's
say,
like,
what? Like, I wouldn't hang out with a black man?
Well, they've
That's what
said
you
that
should
to me.
say.
They've said that to me before too, though. They said that I'm trying to use them many times.
Seems to me that short of an actual sex tape with a black man, you're not going to please them.
Probably not.
And then they'll just be like, well, look, clearly she's not a racist. We were wrong about that. But this is disgusting.
I think they would still call me a racist, to be honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah.
I don't know.
Or anyone that associates with me is an Uncle Tom.
That's true. But that's true of any black person who's not liberal. So I didn't know what kind of by
they
proxy.
are liberal, though. My friend, I have another friend in the rap game, Charlemagne.
I just
God.
feel very uncomfortable you saying rap game.
Yeah.
Let's just let's act, because I feel like we're trying to be a
gonna
part.
lose so many fans.
We're gonna lose so many fans if we don't use it properly. Let's just act like the white people we are and be like, those rappers there, see? That way we're being authentic.
But it is authentic. I actually love rap music.
Yeah, so do I. I'm a huge underground hip hop fan. If Immortal Technique weren't just such a dumbass, Weird Science, Mortal Technique, all this stuff. I've been following hip hop for a long time, but I haven't earned the right.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
What's the right? How do you earn it?
I'm not in the club.
Okay.
I haven't been shot yet.
Inda Club?
Yeah. I haven't been shot yet, neither of you, so...
Have you given yourself your own tattoos?
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna get my
the
own
mark
tattoos.
of a real professional.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, there is nothing, Constable, in prison to do other than desecrate the flesh. That's a Cape Fear reference. I guarantee you no one in this room gets it.
No.
Nick DiPaolo would. Okay, sorry, continue with the story, and then we're going to move on to the game.
I think the story was done.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it was finished.
All right, there you go.
Final
Now I don't feel
thoughts.
so bad. Well, okay, so I did read an interview. Was it Playboy? Am I mistaken?
I've done a lot of interviews, but I did do a Playboy.
I don't say that to be salacious, but by the way, actually my wife, we had to get a Playboy for a sketch here. She was like, "This is remarkably tasteful compared to what I thought." Because now 14-year-olds find the most depraved pornography you could possibly imagine. It's Playboy. It's like, there are breasts.
But I think we should also clarify I was in Playboy in an article.
In an article, yes.
Fully clothed.
Yes, in an article.
Yeah.
That was why, because that actually would have determined if we made this the Fox News leg chair.
Okay.
If it weren't an article, if it were a full Playboy spread, there would be a glass table here, and this would be aimed that way.
Okay.
Because we know we get a rating spike. Sorry, they don't know. You know, everyone knows what I'm talking about.
We all know.
We all know.
We all know.
We all know. Bill O'Reilly's office reeks of sexual assault. So I did read in this article that you said you wanted to, because I've always seen you more serious, obviously, as someone who's done comedy my whole life. You mentioned you wanted to take part in a right-wing sort of Jon Stewart show, Daily Show, something like that. So what have you done comedy before? What's the mindset behind that? Because that's a big shift.
I think just being a smartass. People that watch my full show know that more than anything, they think I'm angry. I'm actually more of a smartass than angry.
Okay.
So I think that there needs to be more you do it, but we need primetime conservatives that are going to do. And now they've lost their minds anyway. I mean, look at Colbert. He's lost his freaking mind.
I still think he's funny.
He's not
You
anymore.
will need writers though if you do that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Stewart has like 27 writers. One of them got me my start in comedy. A guy named Barry Julian was hilarious. Wasn't even that liberal in Canada, but when I saw him when he went up there and was accepting the Emmys, I was like, that's the Canadian comic. So many writers. So, okay, so you do want, so not so much like really, I guess, a comedy show, but just more of a snippy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
having fun with it.
Have fun, say what you want, swear if you want.
Yeah. Every now and then bring out like the old Roger Ailes reference.
See,
to make people mentally uncomfortable.
He kind of.
Oh, that's right. He died. I swear to you, I forgot he died. I swear to you that I forgot about that because remember we were gonna have the puppet. This is true. Before Roger Ailes passed away, we were building a custom Roger Ailes puppet.
And then now
for sketches. We can't do it now. We can't do it now.
It would be like the Ghost of Marley's Past.
It would be like the Ghost of Marley's Past. I swear to you, that's not trying to be distasteful. We were in the process of building a Roger Ailes puppet.
100% true.
And then when he passed away, we're like, cancel the puppet order.
Too soon.
All right, so we're going to play a game when we get back from this break.
Blue.
Yeah, no, 86, that puppet. Well, I hope it goes well. So we're going to play a game then when we come back, and it'll be fun, and it'll allow you to show your chops, and warning, it'll probably be offensive.
Okay.
Not to you, but to everyone else. So we'll be back with Tomi Lahren, Facebook.com/Tomi Lahren, like laryngitis. And so, as we get very near the end of this now, that concludes. I'm not going to lie. Time I learned there was a cocktail in here. She made me do it. No, she didn't. She was sober. Concludes our week of #FreeCrowder. Hope that you've enjoyed it. People who've been watching, people who watch on CRTV, who are Mug Club members, thanks so much. We also have Morning Grinders, right? Not okay, Jared?
Yeah, that's right.
Morning Grinders will be out. Well, I guess tomorrow. Well, they might get it Saturday on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure because this show will be archived tomorrow. So Morning Grinders with Jared and Courtney. And again, thanks so much. We appreciate the support with YouTube squeezing conservatives. We've talked about it. LottoWithCutter.com/mugclub. The free show that you've seen every day this week is available for $99 annually, $69 for students, veterans, or active military. You also get access to the whole CRTV lineup. We just wanted to give it away as much as possible because we believe in the product. We're doing this every single night, and we're hiring more people. So if you want to be American, buy American, well, we actually hire people here. You pay for Not Gay Jared's horrible drug habit. So enable him.
Thanks.
Please. We can't thank you enough. It's been a great week. Thanks so much to everyone who's been on this week. Gavin, Jordan Peterson, Tomi Lahren. Who else do we have on this week?
Who do we have Monday? Monday.
Gosh, I can't remember.
These weeks all kind of go together.
They bleed together.
Mark Duplass.
Oh, yeah, Mark Duplass. Thanks so much, Mark Duplass. Great guy. So if you do like this and you want to support the content, you want to see more big YouTubers and more other names coming, to CRTV, Mug Club, LottoWithCutter.com/Mug Sign up. You get this wonderful hand-etched mug. And you get to watch the show. And you get access to all the other shows. So that is the end of our #free Crowder Week. By the way, you still get the free show once a week for those who are still cheapskates and can't afford it. You still get the free Thursday show. You still get a clip a day. But, you get that for as long as the other people who support the content and join Mug Club exist. And then because if not you, if you don't do it and then the next guy doesn't do it, then just the whole thing ain't gonna look right. So, LottoWithCutter.com/Mug Club.
Tower of Cards.
See you there. Oh, I don't know. All right, never mind. Apparently, Tomi Lahren won't take part in the pogo dance. All right, that's one demerit. So, Facebook.com/ is there anything whiter while we're talking about Wale? Wale followed by demerit.
Demerit.
You're going down in my book. This is a game that we have here. So, you said that you've never played this before. Utter nonsense.
No, I have not played this.
We're playing an adapted version for the viewer. So what this is, well, Jared, this is one of your favorite games. Jared's the guy who likes board games.
I am. I love board games.
Yeah. So explain how it works. Explain the rules.
So basically, I have the cards here, accents. You guys continue your conversation, but you're not going to be knowing. We're not going to know what accents we have picked up, and we have to kind of just guess along the way what accent we're trying to convey.
And I should preface this. The reason, it's unfair. We will say this, even though I think you and I disagree on some issues. It's definitely unfair the way I think how the deck is stacked against you whenever, like you said, ever you say something.
Yeah. They're
going to label it offensive. They're going to make sure that it comes out in a way that's offensive. So
oh no.
Hopefully this is just this is a game we're giving you the opportunity to clear your reputation. Clearly, because that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
With utter nonsense. So Jared's going to shuffle the deck. We're just going to continue our conversation. You get a card, and it's either like, for example, right here it says redneck, right? So you don't show it to me.
Oh, shit.
You don't show it. Well, I can't. So you should make it work for you with the censor button.
Make it
work. We're going to show it to the camera, to the audience, and then I'll have to do it. And then you have to guess, for example. If I'm doing a redneck, you have to guess, I think you're a redneck. And then you get yours, and Jared gets his, and we have to guess.
Coming over with cards.
All right, so you shuffled? All right.
Oh,
Utter nonsense with Tomi Lahren, like laryngitis. Who goes first?
But I'm really white. I'm really not good at accents, Steven.
Me and Tom will do that.
Okay, so I go first.
Yeah, you go first. You're first.
All right, I go first. So we have to continue this conversation. Okay, can you zoom on that? Which camera? Does it matter?
Do that one here. Let me see. Do this one. Do this camera. Other one.
Oh, jeez.
Don't let me see it.
No, you can't see it. Look away.
Oh, we're getting it.
Look away.
We're getting it.
All right, there you go.
There we go.
Okay. Gosh, it looks shiny on that camera. That's the problem with these. That's the problem with sweating.
That's true.
So we're talking like we were talking about that back there. You know, I don't think you have a huge fan base out there when you're talking about deep dish.
Chicago.
Doesn't matter if there you go. Chicago in. Boom. She got it. Good. That was very quick.
That was very quick.
Very quick.
You said deep dish.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Okay. Jared. Now it's not get Jared's turn.
Okay. All right. You got to draw for me?
Oh, you want to just draw for you?
Okay,
Draw
it's
not
for me.
Jared's turn. All right. So you can't look. So here, I'm gonna have to. What am I have to show it to this one?
Show it to me over here.
Okay. All right, so this is not.
I see it. Okay.
Okay, you can see it. Now let me show the audience. For those that I don't want to show
I
how
gotta
much
see this. We're not prepared for this kind of
Wait, we're not prepared. All right, hold on a second. What? There? All right. Oh, damn it. All right.
Right there.
Wait, hold on a second.
Right there. There you go. There you go.
This is a nightmare.
Boom.
Okay, that's the one to do.
Boom.
That's the one to do. Right there. Okay. All right. So, Naki, Jared, continue our conversation.
All right, mate.
That's
I'm
awful.
gonna say
Already this is offensive.
What?
I gotta say.
I think it's
gotta say the
yours.
words a couple times because they use that a
Well,
lot
it's Australian.
It's Australian.
Oh!
All right.
I'm
That's
not good
good.
at accents. I'm gonna sweat.
Yes.
It's
Well, like we
cold
said,
in here and
we
I'm gonna
always think
sweat.
that it's unfair how people have painted you.
Oh, this should
And
help.
take things out of context.
This should help.
So now it's time for Tomi Lahren. You have to pick that card. Don't show me. Show the camera. Where should she show the camera now?
Right to your camera right there.
You're gonna show it to that camera right there.
I'm nervous for this.
Let's just play the game. We have to show that you know how to have a good time. Show the camera. Show the camera. I can't see it. Not good. You have it?
We got it.
We got it. Okay.
We got it.
I don't know.
Dear.
It could be anything.
Throw that card away.
This
Okay,
is a real
so
board
we're
game.
talking. We're having a good conversation. We're talking about the show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's what? How do you feel about your first Louder with Crowder in studio experience?
Yeah, this is gonna be great for my.
Jared, Naki Jared's the one who set up this game.
This came. I just opened the package.
The one that's crossed out is far less controversial. Let's just put that out there.
Someone's crossing something out? Not
Yeah.
Jared.
And they're
But
gonna-
you know what? I don't make the rules, I just call them. So we do have to play by the card that you showed the audience.
Yeah, this is random.
So we're talking, we're having a good time. How's the weather out there? We'll improvise. How's the weather?
How do I even? I mean,
How was your trip? How is the world doing today?
Yeah. I don't even know how to verbalize.
What did you
this.
do?
I don't know. Try. Knock, knock. You gotta answer the door.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
All right.
Next round.
Throw that card right. All right.
round.
We'll let you build this.
These are all.
Like you said, we want to give you a fair shake. All right, this one. This is me. All right, you can't see. You can't see it, right?
We're good.
Okay. So you see it. All right. I see this one. Okay. Well, let's role play. You can just ask me. Just put me in any scenario.
Put you in any scenario?
Any scenario that you want.
Jeez, you're just putting me on the spot right now.
You put me on the spot. That's very hard. It's a hard place to be. I don't want to build the wall because the wall, when I climb, it makes me fall down.
You sound like I don't even know.
You don't even know?
What?
You don't even know.
Wait,
never seen a taco.
Does Donald Trump, does he mean what he said?
Donald Trump, does he mean what he's saying?
Mexican?
There you go.
There we
It's not
go.
a trick question. These are easy. All right.
Your turn.
All right,
I like
Naki
guessing.
Jared's turn.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at guessing.
I'm
Okay.
good at that.
You are good at
I
guessing.
mean, I already have a South Dakota accent. You guys are already.
Oh, is that you're from South Dakota?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fargo was a good film. All right.
That's North Dakota.
Well, you know what? Let's be honest. Let's be honest, sweetheart. Those Dakotas are inconsequential aside from fracking. Okay.
Yeah, that pipeline there.
That's true.
All right, there we go. Oh.
Okay, so this one. So Tomi Lahren.
Crap, is this?
Oh, no, don't. You're gonna reveal it if you say it.
I don't know which one this is. Is this the?
Let's go. No, hold on, let's go with the international version.
You were doing the daughter
no,
or the father?
No, you don't know
You
these
were
things.
Indian.
Oh, you already guessed it because Jared's an idiot.
I'd rather act out these.
Is that Indian?
That's 999. That's the only thing I know.
That's the only Indian by
999.
way of Zambia.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time for.
I got that.
Now.
I'd rather act out my card.
Here we go.
I'm
Again,
not
we
good
want
at
to. This is a
accents.
fun game, Tommy. It's
I know,
all
but-
in good fun, and we want to make sure we're giving you the.
I might change the rules and act out mine.
Okay, let's let the audience see what this is. The camera. I can't see it. All right, can't see it.
Okay.
All right. How are you doing? You're a doctor.
I don't think this is a doctor.
My elbow hurts. I don't know why it's not a doctor. You're vilifying an entire group of people. We haven't had anyone group yet that could not be a doctor.
No.
Mexicans, Indians, maybe Chicagoans. Usually they're imported. But
Yeah.
So we don't. These don't represent our views. Okay. Doctor, my elbow hurts. Ow.
I don't even know what a person would say in this.
Okay.
You know what
Doctor,
it is.
what do you really do for a living?
I can't say this. I can
can't-
answer that question, but I can't say that.
You can't say it?
No.
Damn it.
No.
All right, fine. Let's get you some more cards here. Let me see.
I need to
wonder what
shuffle
the
better.
rest-
What?
I need to shuffle better next time.
If I was, I would
right.
say what I would say if I were this person. I would say, I'm not going to say it in an accent. I'm just going to say a phrase.
Well, hold
and
on a
then
second, because
I'm
sometimes the
cha-
phrase is worse than the accent.
No, probably.
Okay.
I'm.
Let me
from
guess.
My card.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
Yeah, the audience knows.
They
the card.
know it. Okay, you know it too, probably.
I don't know the card.
If I were just to say Black Lives Matter.
Could be Al Sharpton.
Could be Al Sharpton. Sean King.
It's not a person though.
DeRay.
It's a group
Oh,
of
it's a
people.
theme. Okay.
It's a group of people.
A black person?
Okay, close enough. Well.
Is that close? That's all it is? It says black?
No.
I feel like that's not in the vein of the game.
No, it's a single mom from Detroit.
How'd that get in there? That's horrible. All right, not gay, Jared. You're horrible to our guest.
She made some
We're trying to
horrible
give her a fair
inferences
shake.
there.
All right,
Racist
well, that's not
inferences.
fair. Come on,
Ugh.
let's give you one more.
One more shot.
I have to go again. I don't think it was my turn.
Well, but yeah, but it's because you didn't do the voice. You gotta commit. Show it to the camera.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we have here? Not gay Jared is the one in charge of this game.
He's fired.
Is he fired? Should he be fired?
You should be fired. You
This is fair.
definitely should be.
This is
Half
Alright.
of my neighbors are going to be.
fair.
Hey, it's getting warm in here. I'm sweating. Can blank help me?
This person cannot help you.
That doesn't help me guess at all. Okay, they can't help me if I'm hot. What if I'm cold? Ooh, I'm cold.
I'm always cold, but I can't do this one either.
You can't?
No, I don't even know how to. I couldn't even. If I, that would be more insulting for me to verbalize what this person is. This group of people would be more insulted.
Okay, not kidding. What is it that you put in there? What is it that he put in there? Airline hijacker. Well, you could have just got. You know what? Here.
I could have been that guy on the
I will
United
say,
flight.
you do the Facebook. I can help you as someone who's been in comedy for a while. This one, if you were looking for it out, you could have just been Dr. David Dow.
Who's that? Is that the?
He was the Asian who went oh! on the flight.
United-
He didn't necessarily hijack the cockpit, but he hijacked everyone's pleasant flying experience.
Yeah,
So
that was some.
If you'd have just gone, oh, I tried gay sex for Percocet, I would have been like, Dr. David Dow, you hijacked an airplane.
I didn't even know that guy's name. I just call him the guy on the United flight that got
Screamed.
his ass beat. That's,
Play that again.
It never gets old.
Have you ever made that sound as a grown adult?
no, well,
Do you think that's the sound before they got violent with him?
did they really get violent though? I
No,
mean,
that's
I
okay.
don't-
Then we're tracking because we were one of the only shows where like, you know what? I feel like this guy was like there were 3 other people who were escorted from the plane and they were totally fine.
Here's my deal on that, and we have to go.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if someone tells you to get out of your seat, you get out of your seat, and then you deal with it legally. Trust me, I know. Deal with it legally later. You don't fight. Like, can you imagine in my situation if I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm staying right
Get
here.
out of your new seat. No.
This seat is cold.
I have already.
Where's my butt pad?
My custom orthotic butt pad is here, and I am here to stay. Where my butt pad goes, I
do
follow.
want to cover that though. I know we
Okay.
don't have a lot of time, but I think it's just important. I don't think I can get in trouble for this. I think I can explain this butt pad. I think I can explain it for those that think.
Okay.
Because to me, when
that
that
was
came
talked
out,
about. People did mention that you had a butt pad.
when that came out and people said that I'm a diva for having a butt pad, I almost lost it because here's the thing. I am always cold. I'm a cold person. Men tend to like things a lot colder because you don't want to sweat, whatever. You probably wear
You
a
could have told us because
suit.
we have a cold in the studio.
No,
I said,
but
"Are you
I'm
cold?"
okay.
You're like, "I'm fine."
But I deal with things. See, I acclimate. So here's the deal. I was always cold at my former place of employment. I was always cold. So instead of demanding it be warmer because it's just not going to get that much warmer when it's already been set to a low temperature, I
Yeah.
thought, okay, how can I best acclimate to the situation? So what did I do? I used a heated lava pad that people use at football
Wait,
games.
what's a lava pad?
It's what you heat up to sit at like a cold football game or a cold sporting event, maybe outside at a parade, to warm yourself, right? So it's like hand
So there was a
warmers.
butt pad.
There was a butt pad. But to say that this made me a diva, it's like I sat on that butt pad because I was so cold. It's like, what can I possibly do to make myself more comfortable
Right.
while also not upsetting the ecosystem? I will just sit on a heated butt pad. So if that makes me a diva, I guess I'm
if you want a butt pad, we can get you a butt pad. We
I
could
want
have
a butt
easily
pad.
before
You
this.
keep
we
it
could've
like
asked-
5 degrees in here.
Yeah, we could have gotten a butt pad.
but I'm okay. I can deal. It's just day in
You're
and day
okay.
out.
His nipples could cut glass. We keep it very cold in here. We go by the David Letterman, and
Yeah.
But I will say this: you've been extremely accommodating. You and I have never actually spent time together. We've always done it by Skype. So I didn't know. I don't know what to expect. Just like I think a lot of people don't know what to expect with me. And she has been very acquiescent. You know how acquiescent? You want to know? By the way, Facebook.com/Tomi Lahren, Lahren. That's where people can follow you. And just to tell you how accommodating she has been today. That drink, Pill Cosby. We'll be back with our final thoughts after this. Thank you so much. It was so sweet. Drink up. Drink up.
Many of you are still unaware of the items available at louderwithcrowdershop.com. Not only do they make you look and feel better, but they serve a multitude of purposes. Like our Socialism is for Fag shirts, assisting in identifying potential allies.
I found that shirt very offensive.
I think it's pretty funny.
Or our Bad Hombres Firearm t-shirt, helping you know who to avoid.
Am I to take that shirt to mean that you support some kind of firearm registry?
Or this one.
Hey, look, it's my face.
I hate it.
Though louderwithcrowdershop.com isn't for everyone.
But can I buy the mug from the shop without joining the mug club?
No! The rest of you, check out the merchandise at louderwithcrowdershop.com today.
All right, glad to be back. Thanks so much to Tomi Lahren. Very nice girl.
Very nice.
Very nice girl. Glad to have her on the show. Even though, like we've talked about, I don't necessarily agree with everything that she always has to say, or sometimes, but who cares?
Yeah.
And that, honestly, I will say, this is, we talked about this earlier, concludes hashtag Free Crowder. Those watching on CRTV Mug Club members, thank you. But what a week. First off, thanks to Matt, who came in and pinch hit. He helped edit for us. Well, that's the conclusion of the Tranny Bane saga. More Jihadi Bond coming up, and maybe Tranny Bane will, leave your comments if you want more. Tranny Bane could rear his Z's ugly head somewhere in the near future. But that requires some editing horsepower. We've had some people come in and pinch hit and really help us this week, so we can't thank them enough. But think about this week. What kind of we have Mark Duplass, a liberal. We talk. We have Common Ground, very civil. Then we have Gavin McInnes, who's just a bomb thrower and hilarious, about as offensive gets. Then Jordan Peterson, and what I would like to think, Professor Peterson, was a very introspective conversation. I think
very thoughtful guy.
We went into some territory that I haven't really heard him explore on shows before, maybe in his lectures. And then Tomi Lahren, which was just, folly.
It was.
Well, it was folly because she has certain things she can't talk about, obviously, given the situations, legal situations, and we wanted to be as tactful as possible and respect her privacy. We do try and do that with this show. Like we were talking about with Jordan Peterson this week, I think that's something that really stuck with me, where he was talking about how compassion in the short term isn't necessarily the most loving thing to do, but being honest is. And he used the example talking about a child. I think it's the same thing with guests, with people on the show. If you watch this show, we don't change our tune when we have guests on the show if we disagree with them. Now, we'll always be respectful. So we may change, I guess, the tact in which we approach someone directly because we need to give them a platform to respond. But for a show that really doesn't value civility above honesty, looking back at this week, that's a pretty diverse array of guests.
Yeah.
I don't know any other show where you would see that.
Are you wearing lipstick?
No, I have chapped lips, though. I've been licking them to they feel like they're on fire.
I just know the whole audience is going, I hear what you're saying, but is Steven wearing lipstick?
Well, you know
Not
what?
that it would be that shocking.
It's probably because you altered the lighting since Tomi Lahren was there.
No, your lips are with my own eyes.
My lips look red?
Very red.
Really?
Like you've been blowing Elmo.
You know I go blow Elmo. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. He's doing hard time, and I was the one who put him away, see? Boy, was that disappointing. I remember I was late to that documentary. Remember the Becoming Elmo?
Yeah.
Whereas
really sad stuff.
I watched it, and you talk, the childhood, and you're like, this guy he speaks to the puppets, and he brings joy to these kids' lives. And I watched it late, and I walked out, and I told my wife, I said, hey, I just watched this great documentary. It was so inspiring, Becoming Elmo. Yeah, he molested kids, right? What? I thought he did the opposite of that.
Hey, Steven, did you hear Prince died?
Well, thank you now.
You're welcome.
Now I've been made aware. But I will tell you this. I hope, Tomi Lahren talked about being authentic, kind of mentioned talking points. We have a structure in our show. If you look at our pitch meetings, we have structure to make sure that what we say is accurate. So if we're questioning Elizabeth Warren, if we're talking, it could be about female circumcision, we are making sure that you have references available so that you're not just you don't have to take my word for it, LeVar Burton. No, we'll take the word of the 6-year-old on the coloring book. Gosh, reading Rainbow. But that's how we create the program. So we do have structure. We have to make sure that we're accurate, and we have people on the team who, some are libertarian, some are more Christian conservative. We don't have any leftists in the show, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try and false virtue signal. We have everyone. No, we don't have everyone. We also don't have an Indonesian. Don't like them. So we make sure we have the facts correct, but beyond that, we really are open to learning and hearing different views. And as far as authentic, we learn a lot in this show.
Sure. When
I sit down and I talk with Dr. Peterson, I learn. When I sit down and I talk with Mark Duplass and I hear a different point of view, I learn as to where he's coming from, as to maybe seeing things from a different point of view. When we have Tomi Lahren on kind of talking about the situation, some of the controversy, and she's able to express her opinion on her own, in her own words, I learn. Some things get to be clarified. And so I do think there's something kind of contagious about that. I hope, for me, when I grew up and I would watch these shows, I'd always love watching shows where I would learn with the person. That's something that I thought with Steve Irwin was really contagious, because you could tell
so true.
He was so into it, and even though he was teaching, he was learning something.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Black Mambas go for the balls. He learned that the hard way. And you could see that it was authentic, the terror on his face when he'd grab a snake and he was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. We really do. I mean, we make sure our sources are correct, our facts are correct.
Yeah.
But
the phrase "I should have done that" appears often, probably.
Yeah, probably on this program.
On this program.
Yeah, often after the show, we go, "Wow, what do you think about that segment?" That might be the one where they get us. That might be the Media Matters highlight reel. But you learn. And I really do. I look forward to coming in here and getting these different guests on and actually learning with them.
Absolutely.
And I know we've talked even after the show where we'll go out to dinner or something. We'll go, hey, do you remember when whoever it is, remember when Boss Rutan said that? Remember when Owen Benjamin said this? Yeah, that really made me think. And we'll have conversations after the show.
Yeah. That'll
be longer than the show. We should have talked about that on the show.
I feel like it's so different from a lot of other talking heads on TV, because a lot of times you watch their interviews and it's like they are trying to lead the person down the path of, this is where I want to get you. I don't want to learn. I want you to come over. I want you to agree with me at the end of this thing or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like we really, especially with like Jordan B. Peterson this week, we go down the trail. Okay, let's learn something from you. What kind of insight do you have that we maybe something we missed?
Yeah, there could be something that we missed. I mean, of course, it's okay to have an opinion or try and convince someone if we think that they're wrong. But yeah, I mean, having worked in cable news. And having worked elsewhere, it really is. You have a certain rigid set of points because these are acceptable. Cheerleading for this.
Never concede any ground.
No, never concede any ground. And cheerleading this political figure is acceptable right now. Don't ever question him because that's going to hurt our ratings. And you see that right now. And then you put yourself in a box. When you put yourself in a ratings box all the time on just being beholden to one group of people, then all of a sudden you can't stray out of it at all. And so I really, my dad always told me about that. I just always want to be someone who is learning. And he said that if you can learn something new every single day, let's call it 2. You can learn 2 new things every single day. But one thing every day, that's 365. What's 365 times 2? I don't know. 7 something.
It's true.
Apparently math isn't among the multiplication tables. My additions are not something that I learn.
But it can be done. Don't let Stephen deter you.
But if you can do that every day. I mean, listen, and we write out jokes, obviously. And that's one thing, too. A lot of the podcasts, we're like, man. One thing, too, that I will say is, it's not the strongest animal that adapts. It's it's not the strongest animal that survives. It's the animal that can adapt.
Yeah.
People go, man, podcast, it's just nothing, just pure conversation. The difference is now it's gotten to the point where everyone does that. So conversations go nowhere. And you can have a bunch of stoners just sitting there agreeing with each other, making no sense.
That's true.
Like, we don't write jokes,
Unless you're also stoned.
We just are funny. No, we actually sit down. We appreciate the audience. We try to, every single show, write some jokes, create some sketches, make you laugh, make sure that you can go to bed being entertained. That way, if you have a guest, a lot of times people see a guest and they say, I don't want to watch Dr. Peterson, or I don't want to watch Tomi Lahren. People don't like every single guest. So we do. we take some effort, we structure that portion of the show, and then just with guests want to learn with you. And I hope that you guys can see that, can sense that authenticity. I hope that you saw that this week for people who weren't necessarily Mug Club members. It's the consistency. I'm not selling this program to you, but it's the consistency, I would say, coming in here and the quality of guests that we get on this program. For me, it's the consistency of every day having different points of view that certainly has helped me grow. If you think about when you and I started, I mean, on terrestrial radio, taking a chance, how many guests we've had and how many people we've met. We'll have Gary Sinise, then we'll have Andrew Bogut, and then we'll have Dinesh D'Souza, then we have Ted Cruz. I mean, it's just...
the tranny who won't stop writing.
And then the one tranny guest who will not stop writing us. But genuinely think about that. Over 2 years, how much we have learned.
It's true. I was trying to think about that even just since we started the Daily Show. I mean, this is episode 175?
Yeah.
We've done like 77 episodes. That's a lot of information, a lot of people we've talked to, a lot of paths that have intersected since the start of just the daily program, which is it's crazy.
Yeah, it is nutty to think about. And hopefully, when you think of all the many millions of people some lives are touched, and sometimes that's the thing, as long as you keep learning, you never know when that moment's going to occur where something that you've learned can help somebody. I've had that where I'm like, oh, you know what, I just learned this last week, and you're talking with someone and they go, that's exactly what I needed to hear. But if you don't have enough arrows in your quiver, if you've just got a bunch of talking points, if you're watching people deliver red meat who're just telling you what you want to hear, that's not a way to grow. And more importantly, that's not a way to help other people. It's not a way, if you go back to what Dr. Benjamin, I keep saying Owen Benjamin, Dr. Peterson.
Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin, Jordan Peterson. It's the syllables. If you go back to what Dr. Peterson was saying, it starts with strong individuals, strong families, strong communities before government. So if you believe in personal responsibility, if you believe in limited government, guess what? It really does start with you strengthening yourself as an individual.
Absolutely.
And you cannot get that only sticking around with people who agree with you. You cannot get it trying to tear down anyone who expresses an idea that you don't like, or you cannot get it trying to tear down anyone who doesn't follow dear leader, whoever that may be at that time, your political savior or your cultural savior or your idol. You cannot grow and you cannot be of help to other people in your daily life. And we talked about that all the time. It's just daily connection with people, talking with people about these issues that you learn about, making sure to engage people in conversation. Half the time you'll realize people haven't thought of a lot of these issues. People watching this program out there right now, you are in a minority to look through the world in this lens and actually care.
Sometimes they give you the bird.
But you are in a small minority to sit here this week and listen to the views of Mark Duplass and then Gavin McGinnis and Dr. Peterson and Tomi Lahren and consistently watch throughout and interact. There aren't many people who do that. And that feels good because you know what? I think people who do that, people who are exposed to more and more points of view, and I think we really aim to do that on the show. And if we're missing it, please always let us know. That's a good thing. We're always accessible. But gosh, you will be so much better equipped to better serve your community as a strong individual. And of course, your family, if you have kids, that's not me. You have to terrify me. You're also sticky. I don't like going on a couch when a kid's been there. Between the cushions, you never know what you'll find. But you can strengthen yourself as an individual, family, communities, and that has to start with every single day. Just learn something new. We're doing it, so you can watch along with us and learn something new, and you might hear a few immature jokes because sometimes learning new information can be wildly uncomfortable. By the way, there's no show next Monday. It is my first long weekend in ever, and we will see you back next Tuesday for those who've joined Mug Club. See you then.